We are the quantum. We are the power of creation. We are the Shakti, and it is our mana that is making all of this happen.
Aloha, and welcome to Healers' Voices, the podcast that brings you the healing heartbeats of Maui and around the world. I'm your host, Jessica Brazil, and together we embark on a journey to explore the inspiring stories of individuals who are making a profound impact on both local and global levels. From the powerful healing of Maui, we are here to amplify the voices of healers, visionaries, and change makers. We believe in the transformative power of dialogue to chart a future where all life thrives, living in harmony with the natural world and embodying the spirit of aloha. Aloha, welcome Kahu Kāhealani, Satchitananda. So wonderful to have you here with us and to be able to learn from you. I understand from what I've learned in our engagements already and research is that you have been practicing this Hawaiian sacred way of being since childhood, where you've been able to walk in the spirit world and the physical world simultaneously without there being a contrast, so much of a contrast, other than what you noticed with our humanity struggling with being connected to the spirit realm, that you've always been connected to that. And also have this practice of really connecting to the quantum energy field in harmony with this ancient Hawaiian sacred way of being, which is Ho'oponopono. You have this ability to bridge the old and the new way, is how I like to kind of describe it in my experience, and in living in harmony and oneness and in the spirit of aloha. So welcome. I'm so grateful to be able to have this conversation and be able to share it with others who may be able to translate it and apply it in their own life. So welcome, Kahu. Would you mind just sharing, opening up the space for us today, and we can step into the sacred realm with you?
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's only my favorite thing to talk about and to share, and I really appreciate this modality of healers' voices. I would first like to start with a chant, a permission chant, and prayer. So if we can just go within.
Eni hia kaheliukola ola ikana helima ikiala haya mai kemwa pole monole hua uia ikala hui kunale ikoilele huia ke a kokala hule ikai no he mai
Taking a deep breath and exhale very long as we invoke the ancestors of grace. Let us surround ourselves by a golden ball of light, and let us let go of all sense of separation as we ask for everything that needs to be heard, and for everything that needs to be said, to be said. Let us surrender into the presence of the divine as we are establishing ourselves in this sacred circle, letting go, becoming present. I give glorious thanks. Amama Uanoa, and I let it be.
Hello. Very powerful. Was that your granddaughter I heard in the background?
That was actually my daughter, who is my number one alakai. And she has had to listen to me her whole lifetime. And so she, we offer ceremony together. And my granddaughter is there as well. I think she thinks she's going to take over my job.
I can see
So
that.
I have done ceremony and I hear this other chant happening, and I did not teach her the chants. And she is offering the chants, and that is so exciting because there's such power in chants. And in my own life, chants saved my life. And the work that I offer has been a product of learning to master your mana. That mana matters. And that's what I see that is possibly missing in what's happening right now in the world. We have all of these tools. We have all the tools. And we have all the books, and we know the truth. There is no new truth out there, but it is our relationship to that truth that can allow us to navigate over this ocean. And right now, there is a big shift happening in this world. And we are shifting from the laws of the land to the laws of the ocean. And that's where some people are having a hard time. There's stress, there is trauma, there is discord when things pop up not the way you want them to. Crisis, okay? Crisis happen. Challenge happens. Change happens. And so humanity has been conditioned to think it's separate from God, to think that happiness is over there, that there is always the pursuit of happiness, that you do to have to be. I'll be happy when I make $1 million. Well, now they've upgraded it to 1 billion. Okay. I'll be happy when I marry the man. I'll be happy when I divorce the man. I'll be happy when I have a child, when I get the education. And it's always something outside of yourself. And the ancient Hawaiian way is the opposite of that. It is be to have to do. So we want to understand that we are the quantum. We are the power of creation. We are the Shakti, and it is our mana that is making all of this happen. And when we have that intellectually, but we have not digested that understanding, that's when confusion can happen, because we actually, a blind spot can be created. Because, and usually I have something to show, but there are 4 quadrants. There is what we know, and what we know, we don't know. But then there are 2 lower quadrants, and that's what we don't know that we don't know. And then there's what we don't know that we do know, because we are the thing itself. And so, actually, Dr. Hugh Lin says thoughts are the problem. That it is our data that is the problem. And I would have to be in alignment with that. So, in the Western indoctrination way, that's how we are trained. That's how we become educated, by stuffing the mind with more data. However, so we have thought security is a solid foundation and there is no change. But all of a sudden now, our whole world has changed. So the laws of the ocean do not build a sandcastle. They build your certainty inside of yourself. So then, in the canoe, being guided to the Hawaiian Islands, change can happen. The ocean can have a rogue wave, or there can be so many uncertainties. However, our certainty is within. Our navigation process is within. So we don't have to rely on our 2 eyes. That is the blessing of the spiritual dynamics, the quantum dynamics that are happening in this world right now, is we are being asked to turn and hook up with our own inner power.
And you certainly have been connected to that inner power and come from a lineage of being connected to that inner power and the lineage following you. So, can you tell us a little bit about your more recent experience with energy and your experience with the Maui wildfires? Has been a big conversation in our world. A lot of the world is watching us, and I know you and your family were living in that area and practicing living in the sacred way. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So what I want to say is, when I was born, I did not forget the plane that I came from. There is an ancient Hawaiian protocol in which they want to keep the soft spot on your head when you're a baby. They want to keep it open as long as possible. So they put various herbs and things to feed that portal. And they offer chants and transmissions. And that's what my tutu did for me, to keep that portal open. So I did not forget. Usually they say that children by 7 years old will forget. And honestly, I saw it on my daughter's school pictures. Her school pictures up through 6, her pupils are so wide. And then at 7, they constrict. It's an amazing thing to see. And so when I came into this world, I came from a plane that was golden light, and there was no resistance, no opposing force. It was just radiant love, aloha, radiant, being in the presence of God. And we did not use language to speak. We communicated heart to heart. And so now I learned that word, telepathy. Okay. I didn't know that word as a child. I knew the experience and the relationship, the right relationship of communing and communicating heart to heart. We also move through time and space. I could blink and be on my mommy's lap, or blink and be at something like a sweet store. Those are my two favorite places to go. And when I woke up here and I saw these God beings that had forgotten who they were, and that they would fling violent thought around haphazardly, it was a very shocking existential pain for me. It was confusing. And that was the first time I experienced pain. And my tutu taught me that I could not fling violent thought back, or I would become barbaric like them. So I had to learn how to not get hurt by God beings that had forgotten they were God, and not to harm them. And that was an interesting experience, and sometimes a lonely experience. And sometimes I would go to bed in a depression or sadness or just shock. And the full moon with Goddess Hina would come every single night. Now, I know the calendars say the full moon only comes once a month. The Goddess Hina came to me every night and allowed her moonbeams to wash away the pain. And that's when I began to be established in my connection with the ancestors, the universe, and this other level, which I now call the quantum. Okay. And it took some years for me to learn to navigate and to learn the lessons that I needed to learn through that process. My mother was the first college educated, so she didn't want me to know the ancient ways. She's, that's your tutu, and we love her. But here, this is what's going to make you successful in life. So I plunged in academically. I got my bachelor's degree in business with a pre-med minor at UC Berkeley, and went on to dental school. So I always had a calling to make a difference in the world. So I'm setting up my dental practice in Beverly Hills, and on my card it says, "Here to make a difference." And I thought it was through dentistry. And that was the way destiny was leading me. So the ancestors began to speak to me and make their presence more known. And I became one of the pioneers of holistic dentistry. So I graduated UCLA in 1980. I didn't do mercury fillings back then. I didn't do fluoride. I understood that the teeth were related to different acupuncture meridians. And just because you had a cavity, it didn't mean you didn't brush your teeth. It could be a weakness in that particular meridian. So you wanted to treat the whole person. So that was the beginning of my journey.
And how powerful to be able to recognize that there's physical points in our body that correspond with energetic points that can have a emotional, a spiritual meaning beyond physical form. And to be able to translate that when somebody's suffering in a dentistry and pain, the pain of dentistry can be very, it gets our attention. Somebody has a toothache, they sure can't ignore that.
Exactly. That's very true. And what I also learned was that the Egyptians already knew that, and they actually put emeralds and diamonds into the teeth back then because of the healing power of those stones to treat the whole body.
Powerful.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So you've connected to a lot of different lineages of teaching that come from this awareness that some of our listeners may be familiar with, this concept of Ho'oponopono, which has been shared, I would say, online in a very surface level, but you have a pretty vast understanding of it. What might something be that could be helpful for a listener that wants to understand what that means from you?
Yes. So what I want to say about that is that there is no one Ho'oponopono, okay? All the families in ancient Hawaii had a Ho'oponopono practitioner in the family. And that's just like hula as well, or lomi lomi. So when we had to go underground, then it diversified depending on the conscious level of that family. And so there is no, I think that's a misunderstanding that there's one Ho'oponopono. Okay. So different families have different ways of offering Ho'oponopono, which means setting right all relations. I say setting sacred and right all relations. And so I have studied with Auntie Myrna Simeona, who Dr. Hugh Lin also studied with and represented around the world. And I know that Joe Vitale, I want to give thanks for him because it is through his book that the world understands, well, has the idea of Ho'oponopono. However, Ho'oponopono is not just, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and thank you. There is far more to understanding how to set right all relations. And at a deeper level, doing those 4 statements can get you there. So it's not like a black and a white. It's a yes and. Yes, and there's more. And so if a person would only think, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you and thank you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you and thank you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you and thank you. If that's all that they would do with their mana, they would have a clean bowl of light. However, I haven't found not one person yet that can just train their mind to, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. So I want to say thank you to Joe Vitale. I want to say thank you to Dr. Hugh Lin, who was a psychologist, by the way. Can you imagine that? He was a psychologist that was hired in a very dangerous jail environment. And he went in, and what he understood was that he was the quantum. I am the quantum. He understood he was the quantum, that there was nobody else out there, and that what he needed to do was to clean his own bowl of light. So he read some of the histories of these very dangerous beings, and he would have a feeling inside, and he cleaned the feeling. He was cleaning his own vision. And that's why right now in this world, if you come to me for health reasons, for relationship reasons, for financial reasons, the first thing that I put in your hand is to clean your own bowl of light. It's so important. The Hawaiian Lua warriors, they understood that the mind is your first weapon. It's your first best friend, or it's your worst enemy. And so to win the battle, the first thing we need to do is polish our consciousness. Because, and you're right, I've studied the 5 major holy books with a magnifying glass, okay? I have walked as a Muslim, a Hindu, Christian, and Buddhist, okay? Not so much searching, but I have a global practice, and I want to be able to articulate what I want to teach in a language that each person can understand. And it's in all of those holy books, the truth. In Hawaiian, the truth is o ia io, o okina I, a okina I o. And I love that word. I forgot what you call it in English when it's the same spelling, going and coming. Either way you read it, it's the truth. And that's the truth that we want to stand on. We want to stand on what is pono, what is truth. And it's the truth no matter which way you're looking at it. So from a Sanskrit perspective, they say that the mind makes a terrible master, but a wonderful servant. That is the truth, no matter which way you look at it. So anyone that has a life-threatening disease or chronic illness or a mental instability, and even financial, the first place you want to look and to put in order, divine order, is your way of thinking. Okay. And this is where, since we've been conditioned into victim consciousness, we've been conditioned into basically seduced into our lower chakras, the dumbing down of America, okay, which obviously began with the fluoridated waters. It's affecting your relationship with your own consciousness. The way you see, you are interpreting everything else. So if you're to be effective in your life, you want a clean bowl of light. And so we are taught that you already have a sacred bowl of light and you're already connected to the heavens and you're already connected to the Aina and you're connected to all life and all relations. And people all over the world, no matter what race, sex, beliefs, religions, we're all walking up this mountain of life. And the goal of life is to malama your sacred bowl of light. So when a challenge happens, the first thing to do is to be pono, to be in alignment with your sacred bowl of light. It's not to go out there and comment on what you think you're looking at. So in the Bible, it tells us to keep thy eye single. For when your eye is single, your whole body is filled with light. And when your eyes are dual, your body is filled with darkness. So what's the experience if our body is filled with darkness? What would that feel like?
I feel cut off or separate or in the dark or unaware.
Stress, right?
Sick.
We would feel stress. We would feel agitation, irritation, frustration, anger. The body would be filled with darkness. So anytime you're feeling that, then know that you're looking through the glass darkly, is the way that Christ says, but you're looking with these two eyes. And then it's judging based on what it thinks it knows, when it might not know the highest of what it's looking at, but it's making a narrative. And then we're addicted to those struggle narratives and those stressful narratives. And it may not be the highest when we see singly. When our eye is single, our whole body is filled with light. So the Bible also says that a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And that's what we are seeing, that we need to tap each other on the shoulder and get them to go back to high vision of Satchitananda, of truth, consciousness, and bliss. So the practice, before you even make a comment of whatever you think you're looking at, because right now we don't know the good guys from the bad guys. It's been so much confusion, and we know this is Kali Yuga, where they say you will see good in bad and bad in good. So what we know, because we know how to navigate the ocean, we know, I am taught to witness without judgment. The bird flew, the leaf fell. You observe, but you zip the lip. Do not add your data, okay? Because your data may have errors in it from past traumas, past experiences. So we zip the lip, we witness without judgment. We feel, so we're authentic. And then we ask divinity, what am I to learn from what I'm seeing? How am I to grow into the greater? How am I to expand? Because we've always heard everything is a lesson. We're on the earth. This is a school. They're nothing but lessons. We also know that there is a power of good in this universe, and we are one with it and cannot be separated from it. So now we must come into alignment with that truth in the way that we are telling the story, the way our narratives go. So our first key is to heal your narratives, because we've always heard, are you a human being here for a spiritual experience, or are you a spiritual being here bringing in the new earth? Yes. And that choice is ours in this moment, the only moment of power. That choice is ours. And so that's what my 12-week protocol is about. It is about the inner work, the self-inquiry, to bring intellectual concepts, to digest them and embody them so that your mana is aligned with the truths you already believe. Setting sacred your relationship with the heavens, setting sacred your relationship with your own vision, setting sacred your relationship with the heart, the na'au. And we hear that word coherence. Aloha means coherence. It means living with a coherent heart and mind in one. We set our relationship with our bodies. We set right our relationship with those in our inner circle. And then we set right our relations with how we serve the world. It is when we are established as quantum masters, understanding it's our mana, that we can truly serve the world. And that is the call.
Ooh, very powerful. Very powerful. What just keeps sitting with me is because I've heard you share this before. You share it again. Is that like touch on that soft spot on the crown of the head? Like we get so stuck in this rational or intuitive, and one of my teachers once said, "Heaven and hell are seeds of the mind, waiting for us to think them into reality." So this bowl of light allows us to cleanse what we are absorbing and what we're giving our attention to, and how we can come right back into that soft spot of knowing where that
Yes.
can come through. We can remember it and apply in a sacred way this life.
So I have a ho'omana blessing in which we offer the ha blessing, the dissension of grace, and I touch the top of your head. And I was initiated by Kahuna Papake, who actually, he was a kahuna of Lomi Lomi. And I should say, no shoulds, I could say that he is, because even though he left the body in 2008, he visits his students in amazing ways. And so I was given this permission to offer this blessing on Kilauea. And he is 7 generations King Kamehameha of the Pele lineage. And it was the last time that I saw him in this body. He offered this breath of Ha, which in the experience of that, my breath started breathing me in huge ways. And I was taught that we think we're breathing. It is actually divinity breathing us. It was a very, very powerful experience. And so I am able to offer that blessing that is tangible. It is a tangible experience that reestablishes your consciousness. We need to take back the power of our minds. We need to take back our energy. We need to experience our mana. Our mana matters in this world. How you use your mana. Your every thought, your every feeling, your every perception, projection, victim story, narrative, your every spoken word, and your every performed action. They reverberate out into the universe. They impregnate the universe. And they are never forgotten. They are never overlooked. They have your screen name, your email screen name attached to them. And when the Christ says you reap what you sow, this is the quantum truth of how that happens, that you reap what you sow. That's how we instruct the universe to give us our next lessons and challenges until we learn how to be aligned with the divine and become the thing itself.
So powerful.
It's a perfect system.
It is. It
The
is. And
universe is mathematically exacting. So that's what we need to align with. That is what Vai it is. It's the perfect abundant flow. It's like that surfer that knows, because he's listening to the inner, or she is listening to the inner, that perfect place where she can ride in the tube for the most exhilarating experience. That's what we want to do in life with our consciousness, with our mana, with the way we see. It's a perfect, magical ride. And that is what I want for all of us for 2024.
wow, powerful. So for a listener who is wanting to step back from so much external influence, maybe it's a screen, or it's giving a lot of their time and attention to a particular job or a role, right, where they're maybe they're not well practiced in these teachings. What would a couple words of advice would you give to step into a deeper connection to mana and to that sacred bowl of life?
I would say get in like the Ho'oponopono support group. Your Tony Robbins says this all the time. We become a sum total of the 5 people that we are surrounded by. So if you are in toxic situations or challenging situations and you haven't already developed the muscles, right? You want to get a coach, get a support group, someone that can hold the high watch for you as you learn your baby steps to move through. That would be my number one at this point in time, is get in a group. Get the coaching. Okay. Other than that, it's immerse yourself in sacred sound. Okay. And what I do with my clients, which this is the new year, so I am also doing a vision board, and we're walking through this manual together. Okay. And the reason I have it for the 12 weeks is to give you the support and the tools on how to perceive the challenge or the negative challenge that you're having, so that you learn how not to give your energy there and react. So in the group, you're taught how to respond instead of react. You're taught how to see. What I learned is all the traumas, all the triggers, all the crises, those are quantum portals for us to jump through. But if we are typing a narrative that something is happening wrong, okay, we are creating resistance, and what you resist persists. So it's in your eyes, it's in your vision, that when you see it, and now you know it's there for you, it's not against you. You call it what it is. It's great fortune. And when I first learned this, I had to say it out loud because it did not look like great fortune. But this is great fortune. And as I'm speaking that it's great fortune, it has no other choice but to show up as great fortune in my life. And so that's the kind of support that we are here to give you to make magic happen. Those things are teachers, and they are a quantum portal. Before I thought it was a bad thing happening. I thought those were bad people and whatever. That was how my narrative went. When I began to understand that I am the quantum, then I knew, like Florence Shen says, you may have done it to me for wrong, but God did it to me for right. And so I began to see that it's a quantum portal. And what we in Hawaii understand about a rogue wave, we don't fight it. So if we're over here commenting on how bad it is, we're in resistance. Rogue wave, you dive into the wave, and the very power of that wave will raise you up on the other side. So that's what we want to learn how to do. That's what I support you in the moment through the 12 weeks, is how to recognize the wave, how to call it a portal, how to dive into it and raise on the other side. And oh my God, you give birth to greatness. You give birth to your own freedom, your own joy, your own inner mastery. It's a delicious way to live.
Sounds like it. So how can our listeners learn more or sign up for your course or join in your group, prayer group?
Yes. So you can reach me at the www.thesacredhawaiianway.com, and I also have change your frequency hyphen change your life, and I'm upgrading it today, so give me a little time, and I'm putting the schedule on there.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your light, your incredible
It's so
connection.
great to be here with you and connect with you. This is what the work is all about, and we're doing it.
We are. And it sure is an empowering way to live, isn't it?
Yes, yes, it is.
Well, thank you so much, Kahu Kāhealani, for sharing your wisdom, for making it so translatable and relatable. Such something that maybe can feel like it's out there. You brought it right in here and experienced it with you. So we're so grateful. Is there any kind of prayer or comment you'd like to close with?
Thank you for asking. Some of us were back in the 1111, right? Okay. So there is a prayer by Mahatma Gandhi that I always love to close with. And it's a call and response. So I'd like for you to use your hands, and I will say it and then you repeat it.
Okay.
And actually, I have my clients use this prayer as they look into their own eyes in the mirror every morning. Because I've given this to 2 people and I've given it to 200. And something powerful happens about the shift in consciousness with these words. And we know there's life in the words, right? Your mana is in the words. And it magically happened so much that I had to contemplate what is in this prayer. And everything you need is in this prayer. Just like if you say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and thank you, and that's all you said, it's all there. It's in this prayer. Everything that you need is in this prayer. And so be with it. I offer you peace. Repeat.
I offer you peace.
I offer you love.
I offer you love.
I offer you friendship.
I offer you friendship.
I hear your needs.
I hear your needs.
I see your beauty.
I see your beauty.
I feel your feelings.
I feel your feelings.
My wisdom flows from a higher source.
My wisdom flows from a higher source.
I salute that source in you.
I salute that source in you.
Let us work together.
Let us work together.
I offer you peace.
I offer you peace.
I offer you love.
I offer you love.
I offer you friendship.
I offer you friendship.
I hear your needs.
I hear your needs.
I see your beauty.
I see your beauty.
I feel your feelings.
I feel your feelings.
My wisdom flows from a higher source.
My wisdom flows from a higher source.
I salute that source in you.
I salute that source in you.
Let us work together.
Let us work together.
I love you dearly.
Love you too. Thank you so much. Mahalo. Thank you, Kahu Kāhealani. We look forward to having you again, continue to learn from you, and we wish you a graceful day, and for our listeners to embrace these vital teachings,
Yes.
apply them to their lives. And if you need more support, please visit Kahu at the sacredhawaiianway.com. Sign up for a prayer group or a course. Just step into this path. Don't try to do it alone. Just practice being in community with others that can support this journey.
Mahalo.
Thank you for joining us on this transformative journey through the heartbeats of healing. We hope that Healers Voices has filled your heart with inspiration and brought you closer to the spirit of aloha. As we conclude this episode, we invite you to continue this important conversation in your own life. Let these stories and insights resonate within you and inspire change in your own community and beyond. Remember, the power of healing is within all of us, and by working together, we can bring positive change to our world. Let's move forward with compassion, understanding, and a commitment to living in harmony with nature and one another. We'll be back with more incredible stories and voices of healing from Maui and around the world. Until then, please remember to follow and like us to support this continued raising of awareness, and continue practicing, embodying, and spreading the aloha spirit to make a difference in the world. Mahalo for listening to Healers Voices. We'll meet again soon.